Life often feels like a river, sometimes calm and serene, other times turbulent and overwhelming. As we navigate our journey, we inevitably encounter people whose actions or words disrupt our flow. They might not intend to, but their negativity can ripple through our minds, leaving us restless, uncertain, or even questioning our sense of balance. Imagine for a moment standing in the middle of a storm, not fighting against it, not fleeing from it, but standing there calmly, unaffected. This is the gift that Buddhist philosophy offers us, the ability to remain steady, compassionate, and centered, even in the face of the most challenging interactions. In Buddhism, there's a powerful teaching that says, you cannot calm the storm, but you can calm yourself. The storm will pass. This wisdom reminds us that while we may not control how others behave, we hold the key to how we respond. Instead of resisting negativity or being swept away by it, we can transform it into an opportunity to cultivate patience, compassion, and inner peace. This video is not about escaping reality or ignoring the people around us. It's about embracing reality as it is and learning to protect our inner calm, no matter the circumstances. By applying Buddhist principles, we can handle even the most challenging situations with grace and wisdom. In the next few moments, we'll uncover 11 transformative Buddhist-inspired strategies to help you face negativity in your life. These aren't abstract ideas, they're deeply practical methods you can use to preserve your peace and strengthen your resilience. From the practice of mindfulness to the art of compassionate detachment, each approach is designed to empower you to navigate life's challenges with a steady heart and a clear mind. But before we dive in, take a moment to reflect. What if every difficult interaction you've ever experienced wasn't just a source of frustration, but a lesson waiting to be learned? What if, instead of reacting with anger or hurt, you could respond with patience and understanding? This is your opportunity to see challenges in a new light, not as obstacles, but as stepping stones to a deeper sense of self and serenity. Together, let's explore how Buddhist wisdom can guide you to rise above negativity, reclaim your peace, and embrace the beauty of life, no matter how chaotic it seems. Let's begin this transformative journey, where every storm becomes a chance to discover the unshakable calm within. 1. Recognize the nature of suffering and impermanence. As we transition into understanding the roots of negativity, Buddhism invites us to look deeper, not just at the actions of others, but at the conditions that shape them. The concept of dukkha, often translated as suffering or dissatisfaction, is a fundamental truth of existence. It's not limited to the moments when life feels difficult, it permeates the human experience, arising from attachment, aversion, and ignorance. When we cling to what we desire, push away what we fear, or fail to see things as they truly are, we create suffering. This isn't just personal, it's universal, touching everyone around us in ways both seen and unseen. When someone acts out negatively, whether through anger, criticism, or hostility, it's easy to feel attacked or even question our own worth. But Buddhism encourages us to pause and reflect. What if their behavior has little to do with us and everything to do with their own suffering? A coworker's relentless criticism might not be a reflection of your abilities, but rather a sign of their insecurity, a fear that they themselves are not enough. A friend's sharp words could stem from their inner pain, a burden you cannot see but can begin to understand. Recognizing this truth transforms how we perceive negativity. Instead of reacting defensively or allowing their words to wound us, we can approach these interactions with compassion and clarity. Their actions are not a verdict on who we are, but a mirror of their struggles. This shift in perspective doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it softens the edges of our response, allowing us to meet negativity without absorbing it. Each day presents opportunities to put this understanding into practice. Before stepping into the world, Take a moment to reflect. Today, I may encounter people who are frustrated, angry, or unkind. I will respond with compassion and wisdom. This simple intention sets a foundation of calm, preparing you to meet challenges with grace. It's not about expecting the worst, but about cultivating resilience. You are no longer caught off guard by negativity because you've already acknowledged its possibility and chosen how to meet it. Impermanence, another cornerstone of Buddhist thought, reinforces this approach. Just as suffering is universal, it is also fleeting. Every storm passes, every shadow lifts, and every moment of difficulty dissolves into the flow of time. When you find yourself faced with harsh words or critical attitudes, imagine them as clouds drifting through the sky. They may seem heavy and ominous now, but they will not linger forever. This understanding can be liberating. It reminds us that we don't need to hold on to the weight of negativity or let it define our experience. Think back to the last time someone's negativity left you feeling unsettled. Did their words replay in your mind, growing heavier with each repetition? What if, instead of carrying that burden, you had paused to reflect on its impermanence? Perhaps you could have released it like exhaling a deep breath, letting it dissipate rather than allowing it to take root. The beauty of impermanence is that it offers freedom from clinging to what hurts us, freedom from letting negativity linger longer than it needs to. When we view others through this lens of suffering and impermanence, our interactions begin to change. The coworker's criticism no longer feels personal. Instead, it becomes a chance to practice patience. The family member's sharp tone becomes a reminder of their own struggles, inviting us to respond with kindness rather than defensiveness. This doesn't mean accepting mistreatment or tolerating harmful patterns. It means choosing how we engage, protecting our peace while extending understanding. Incorporating these practices into daily life can be transformative. Start each morning with a moment of stillness, setting your intention for the day ahead. Picture yourself as a mountain, grounded and unshaken by passing storms. Visualize negativity as leaves carried away by the wind, present for a moment but never permanent. With each interaction, remind yourself, this, too, shall pass. These small acts of mindfulness create a ripple effect, shifting not only how you experience negativity but also how you influence the world around you. Over time, you may notice a profound change. Situations that once felt overwhelming now seem manageable. People who once triggered frustration evoke compassion instead. This isn't because they've changed, but because your perspective has. By embracing the truth of suffering and impermanence, you're not just protecting your peace, you're creating space for growth, empathy, and connection. It's a practice, not a destination. But with each step, you move closer to a life guided by wisdom and compassion. The wisdom of Buddhism invites us to see beyond the surface, to understand that negativity isn't something to fight but something to meet with awareness. In doing so, we liberate ourselves from its grip, transforming moments of difficulty into opportunities to embody resilience and grace. The next time you encounter negativity, remember, it's not the storm that defines you, but how you choose to stand within it. 2. Begin each day with mindful reflection. As we deepen our understanding of how impermanence and suffering shape our interactions, we arrive at a natural question: how do we prepare ourselves each day to meet life's challenges with wisdom and grace? The answer lies in mindfulness, a practice that empowers us to navigate even the most difficult moments with clarity and composure. Mindfulness, or sati, is not just about living in the present moment, it's about cultivating an awareness that anchors you amidst the noise and turbulence of daily life. Each morning is a fresh beginning, an opportunity to set the tone for the day ahead. Imagine stepping into a world where you're prepared to handle whatever comes your way, not by controlling external events, but by grounding yourself in inner calm. Taking just a few moments at the start of your day to reflect mindfully can transform how you experience the hours that follow. This isn't about perfection or eliminating negativity, it's about creating a foundation of peace that supports you, no matter what unfolds. Begin with something as simple as your breath. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and take a deep inhale, followed by a slow exhale. As you do, picture yourself enveloped in a shield of calm, a gentle, protective energy that deflects negativity without hardening your heart. This visualization can be surprisingly powerful. It's not about ignoring difficulties or pretending they don't exist, it's about preparing your mind to meet them with poise. For instance, consider a situation where someone speaks to you harshly. Without preparation, it's easy to react impulsively, perhaps with frustration or defensiveness. But when you've started your day with mindful reflection, you've already rehearsed a different response. Instead of allowing their words to pierce your peace, you can pause, take a breath, and respond thoughtfully. It's not always easy, but this moment of mindfulness creates a space where reaction gives way to choice. And in that choice lies your power. Incorporating this practice into your routine doesn't require hours of meditation. Just 5 to 10 minutes each morning can make a profound difference. Use this time to meditate on compassion, both for yourself and for those who may challenge your patience. As you sit in stillness, visualize extending kindness like ripples from a stone dropped into a pond. Start with yourself. May I be calm. May I be patient. May I be at peace. Then expand this kindness outward. Even to those who might test you during the day, may they find peace. May they be free from suffering. This practice builds emotional resilience. It's like strengthening a muscle. You may not notice the effects immediately, but over time, you'll find yourself better equipped to handle negativity without absorbing it. Challenges that once felt overwhelming begin to feel manageable. People who once triggered irritation or hurt now evoke understanding, even empathy. Mindfulness doesn't change the world around you, but it changes how you engage with it. And that shift can be transformative. Consider how many mornings begin in haste. The alarm buzzes, and before you know it, you're rushing through routines, already thinking about what lies ahead. In this state, it's easy to carry stress into your interactions, reacting from a place of tension rather than intention. Mindful reflection offers an alternative, a chance to pause, breathe, and ground yourself before the day begins. It's not about adding another task to your to-do list, it's about reclaiming a few moments of stillness that belong to you, setting the stage for a more thoughtful and balanced day. Imagine starting your morning like this. You wake up, take a comfortable seat, and close your eyes. With each breath, you feel your body relax and your mind settle. You silently repeat an intention for the day. I will meet challenges with calm and kindness. I will protect my peace. As you visualize yourself moving through the day, you see moments of potential tension. But instead of reacting, you respond with patience and understanding. This simple practice doesn't eliminate difficulties, but it equips you to face them with a steady heart. As the day unfolds, you may encounter situations that test you, a colleague who interrupts, a family member who is short-tempered, a stranger who is rude. Yet, because you've taken the time to center yourself, these moments feel less overwhelming. You remember your morning reflection, the calm shield you envisioned, and you draw on that preparation. You pause, breathe, and choose a response that aligns with your values rather than your immediate emotions. Over time, this practice of beginning each day with mindful reflection becomes more than a routine, it becomes a way of life. You start to notice the ripple effects, not just in how you feel, but in how others respond to you. Your calm becomes contagious, creating an atmosphere of peace even in the midst of chaos. And as you deepen your mindfulness, You realize that it's not about avoiding challenges or erasing negativity. It's about meeting each moment with presence and intention. In the end, mindfulness is not something you do, it's something you embody. It's a way of being that allows you to navigate life with grace, compassion, and clarity. And it all begins with those quiet moments in the morning, those simple, powerful breaths that remind you of the peace you carry within. As you step into each day, you carry that peace with you, ready to face whatever comes with the strength of a steady heart and the wisdom of a reflective mind. 3. Let go of the ego. Building on the calm foundation of mindful reflection, we turn to one of the most transformative teachings in Buddhism, the concept of anatta, or the absence of a permanent self. This principle challenges us to rethink the way we relate to the ego, the sense of I that we so often protect, defend, and define ourselves by. When we cling to the ego, we allow it to become entangled with the judgments, opinions, and actions of others. This attachment can be a source of deep pain, as we internalize external negativity and let it shape our sense of self. Think about the last time someone said something hurtful to you. Perhaps it was a colleague questioning your abilities or a loved one expressing disappointment in your decisions. The immediate instinct is often to take it personally, to let their words sting and sink into our being. We replay the moment in our minds, wondering what we could have done differently or why they think so poorly of us. But here's the truth, their words are rarely about you. More often than not, they reflect their own fears, insecurities, or unmet expectations. When we detach from the ego, we begin to see these interactions more clearly. For example, if a family member criticizes your choices, it's not a definitive statement about who you are. It's a projection of their perspective, shaped by their experiences and beliefs. Their criticism might come from a place of worry, frustration, or misunderstanding, but it doesn't define your worth. In these moments, remind yourself, I am not my thoughts or the opinions of others. My value is inherent and unshaken. This shift in perspective is liberating. It allows you to move from a reactive state, where you feel compelled to defend your ego or prove yourself, to a place of calm observation. You realize that you don't have to carry the weight of someone else's judgment. Instead, you can choose to protect your peace by acknowledging their perspective without absorbing it. Letting go of the ego is not about ignoring feedback or dismissing relationships. It's about discerning what serves your growth and what doesn't. Feedback rooted in care and constructive intention can be valuable. But harmful criticism born of someone else's struggles does not need to define your path. By releasing the need for external validation, you create space to trust in your own intrinsic worth. This practice requires intention and patience. The ego is deeply ingrained, and it's natural to feel hurt or defensive when faced with negativity. But each time you choose to step back and observe rather than react, you strengthen your ability to detach. Imagine someone speaking harshly to you. Instead of letting their words pierce your peace, you take a breath and remind yourself, this is their perspective, not my reality. In doing so, you reclaim your power to respond rather than react. Detaching from the ego doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It's about acknowledging them without letting them dictate your actions. When you feel hurt, take a moment to sit with that feeling. Ask yourself, why does this bother me? What part of my ego is seeking validation or approval here? By bringing awareness to these questions, you begin to untangle the web of attachment and free yourself from its grip. Consider how this practice might transform your interactions. Instead of bracing yourself against criticism, you approach it with curiosity and understanding. You see the other person's words as a reflection of their inner world, not a reflection of your worth. This perspective allows you to respond with kindness, even when faced with negativity. It also helps you maintain healthy boundaries. choosing to engage only in ways that align with your values. As you let go of the ego, you'll notice a shift in how you experience life. Situations that once felt like personal attacks become opportunities for growth. You become less concerned with how others perceive you and more focused on living authentically. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others, it means you stop letting their opinions control your happiness. Daily practices can help reinforce this mindset. Start each morning by affirming, "My worth is not determined by others. I am whole, just as I am." Throughout the day, when you feel triggered by someone's words or actions, pause and take a deep breath. Repeat to yourself, "This is their story, not mine." These simple reminders can ground you in moments of tension, allowing you to navigate challenges with grace. Over time, letting go of the ego becomes a form of self-compassion. You free yourself from the constant need to prove, defend, or seek approval. In its place, you cultivate a deeper sense of self-acceptance, rooted in the understanding that your value is not conditional. This inner stability allows you to move through the world with confidence and calm, unaffected by the fluctuations of others' opinions. The journey to release the ego is not about erasing your identity but about discovering the strength and peace that come from knowing your worth is untouchable. It's a practice of remembering that you are not defined by the storms around you, but by the unshakable calm you cultivate within. Each time you choose to let go, you take a step closer to the freedom and clarity that anatta invites us to embrace. 4. Cultivate equanimity. Building on the practice of letting go of the ego, equanimity becomes the natural next step. Equanimity, or upekkha, is the art of maintaining balance amidst life's inevitable storms. It's about standing firm like a tree in the wind, grounded, resilient, and unshaken, in a world where emotions run high and conflicts arise. Cultivating equanimity allows you to navigate the chaos without letting it consume you. Consider a moment when someone lashed out at you in anger. Perhaps it was a colleague criticizing your work or a loved one speaking harshly in a moment of frustration. The instinctive reaction might be to mirror their intensity, to raise your voice, defend yourself, or argue your point. But what happens when you do? The situation escalates. Tension builds, and peace becomes a distant memory. Equanimity offers a different path. It invites you to pause, breathe, and respond with calm neutrality instead of reactivity. Imagine someone raising their voice during a heated conversation. Instead of matching their tone, you take a moment to ground yourself. You acknowledge their emotions without absorbing them, saying, "I hear your concerns, and I'll think about them." These words may seem simple, but their impact is profound. By refusing to feed the fire, you de-escalate the situation and protect your inner peace. You are no longer a participant in the cycle of anger, you've become an anchor of calm. This practice isn't about suppressing your emotions or avoiding conflict. It's about approaching situations with clarity and intention, ensuring that your actions align with your values rather than being driven by the heat of the moment. Equanimity creates space to see the bigger picture, to understand the other person's perspective, and to respond with wisdom rather than impulse. To cultivate equanimity, visualization can be a powerful tool. Picture yourself surrounded by a protective bubble, a soft but impenetrable shield that deflects negativity. Words and actions that carry anger or frustration bounce off this bubble harmlessly, leaving you untouched. This isn't about isolating yourself from the world, but about maintaining a boundary that protects your peace while allowing you to remain present and engaged. Over time, this visualization becomes more than a mental exercise, it becomes a mindset. You begin to see challenges not as threats to your peace, but as opportunities to practice your balance. Each time you choose calm over chaos, you strengthen this habit, building an unshakable foundation that supports you even in the most challenging circumstances. Equanimity also encourages us to recognize the impermanence of emotions, our own and others. When someone lashes out, their anger is like a passing storm. It may feel intense in the moment, but it will not last forever. By staying grounded, you allow the storm to pass without letting it uproot you. This perspective helps you approach conflicts with patience and understanding, knowing that even the most heated moments are temporary. This doesn't mean you tolerate mistreatment or ignore injustice. Equanimity is not passivity. It's a strength that allows you to address issues with clarity and confidence, unclouded by anger or fear. When you act from a place of balance, your words carry more weight, and your actions become more effective. You are no longer reacting to the storm, you are guiding it toward resolution. In daily life, equanimity can be practiced in small but meaningful ways. Start with moments of minor frustration, a long line at the store, a rude comment online, or a delay in your plans. Instead of letting these moments disrupt your mood, take a breath and remind yourself, this is temporary. My peace is more important. Over time, these small acts of balance build your capacity to remain calm in larger, more significant challenges. One of the most powerful aspects of equanimity is its ripple effect. When you maintain your calm in a storm, you influence those around you. Your steady presence can de-escalate conflicts, soothe tension, and create a space for others to reflect on their own reactions. You become a source of stability, not just for yourself but for your relationships and your environment. Equanimity doesn't mean you won't feel emotions or face difficulties. It means that you approach them with a sense of steadiness, knowing that your peace is not dependent on external circumstances. It's a reminder that you can't control the behavior of others, but you can control how you respond. And in that response lies your power. As you cultivate equanimity, you'll find that life's storms no longer feel as overwhelming. The highs and lows of daily interactions begin to level out, leaving you with a sense of ease and clarity. This practice doesn't remove challenges but transforms how you experience them, allowing you to move through life with grace and resilience. The journey to equanimity is not about perfection, it's about progress. Each moment of calm you choose, each pause you take before reacting, is a step toward creating a life guided by balance and wisdom. And as you strengthen this inner steadiness, you'll discover a profound truth: the storms of life may come and go, but your ability to remain unshaken is a gift you can cultivate every day. 5. Set compassionate boundaries. Building on the foundation of equanimity, where we learn to stay calm amidst life's storms, the next step is to set compassionate boundaries. Boundaries are essential to maintaining your inner peace. But in Buddhism, they are approached with a sense of kindness and balance. They're not about shutting people out or rejecting them, they're about creating a space where both you and those around you can interact in a healthy, respectful way. Boundaries, when set with compassion, honor your well-being while still recognizing the humanity of others. Imagine a friend who often brings negativity into your conversations. Perhaps they frequently complain, criticize, or focus on problems without seeking solutions. Over time, these interactions leave you feeling drained, affecting your ability to stay positive and present in your own life. In such moments, setting a compassionate boundary can be transformative. You might say something like, "I value our relationship, but I notice that these conversations are becoming difficult for me. Can we focus on solutions or positive topics instead?" This statement doesn't dismiss their feelings or struggles. Instead, it invites a shift in the dynamic while protecting your emotional well-being. The beauty of compassionate boundaries is that they don't have to be rigid or confrontational. Think of them as gates rather than walls. A wall blocks everything, keeping people at a distance. A gate, on the other hand, allows meaningful interactions to flow in while keeping out what harms you. Gates are flexible, they can open or close depending on the situation. This flexibility makes boundaries not only effective but also sustainable in the context of relationships you care about. One of the challenges in setting boundaries is overcoming the fear of how others might react. You might worry that asserting your needs will upset someone or create conflict. But here's where compassion plays a vital role. When you frame your boundaries with kindness, they become less about rejecting the other person and more about honoring your mutual needs. For example, if a family member often criticizes your decisions, you could say, "I know your advice comes from a place of love, but I need space to make my own choices. I appreciate your support." This approach acknowledges their intentions while making your limits clear. Boundaries are also a form of self-respect. When you allow harmful behaviors to persist, even unintentionally, you send a message to yourself that your peace and well-being are secondary. By setting boundaries, you affirm that your mental health and emotional stability matter. This self-respect is not selfish, it's the foundation that allows you to show up fully for others. When your well-being is intact, you're better equipped to offer patience, understanding, and kindness. It's important to remember that boundaries are not just about words, they're also about actions. If someone consistently disregards your expressed limits, it's okay to create distance. This doesn't mean you stop caring about them, it means you prioritize your peace while giving them the space to reflect on their behavior. For instance, if a coworker often brings negativity into your workspace, you might limit your interactions to work-related topics. If a friend continually disregards your boundaries, you might choose to spend less time with them while still wishing them well. The practice of setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to asserting your needs. But like any skill, it becomes easier with time and practice. Start small, perhaps with low-stakes situations, such as politely declining a request that feels overwhelming. As you build confidence, you'll find it easier to navigate more complex dynamics with clarity and compassion. Boundaries also teach others how to treat you. When you consistently uphold your limits with kindness, people learn to respect them. This not only strengthens your relationships but also creates an environment where mutual respect can thrive. It's a way of modeling healthy communication, showing others that it's possible to balance care for yourself with care for them. Incorporating mindfulness into your boundary setting process can be incredibly helpful. Before addressing a situation, take a moment to breathe and reflect on your intentions. Ask yourself, what is the most compassionate way to communicate my needs? How can I honor both my well-being and the other person's humanity? This pause allows you to approach the conversation with clarity rather than reacting out of frustration or fear. Over time, you'll notice that setting compassionate boundaries brings a sense of freedom and empowerment. You'll feel lighter, no longer weighed down by interactions that drain your energy or compromise your peace. And as your boundaries take root, you'll find that they not only protect your well-being but also deepen your connections. When people know where you stand, they can engage with you more authentically. In the end, boundaries are not about keeping people out but about creating a space where healthy relationships can flourish. They are an act of love, not just for yourself but for the people in your life. By setting compassionate boundaries, you build a foundation of mutual respect, emotional stability, and genuine connection. And that, in itself, is a profound act of kindness. 6. Practice loving kindness without attachment. Having explored the importance of setting compassionate boundaries, we now turn to a profound and transformative practice that takes compassion one step further: loving kindness, or metta. In Buddhism, metta is not just about being kind, it's about cultivating an unconditional goodwill that flows freely to all beings, including those who challenge us. This practice invites us to embrace compassion without attachment, offering love and understanding without expecting anything in return. Think for a moment about someone whose words or actions have hurt you. It's natural to feel anger, frustration, or even resentment in such moments. But what if, instead of holding on to those emotions, you chose to silently wish them peace? Imagine saying to yourself, "May you be free from suffering. May you find happiness." This shift in perspective is not about excusing their behavior or dismissing your feelings. It's about recognizing that their negativity often stems from their own pain and meeting that pain with kindness instead of retaliation. Practicing loving kindness without attachment is liberating. When you let go of the need for a specific outcome, an apology, a change in their behavior, or even acknowledgement, you free yourself from the emotional entanglement that often accompanies conflict. You are no longer waiting for their response to validate your feelings or your actions. Instead, you root your sense of peace in your own capacity to choose kindness, regardless of their reaction. This practice might feel unnatural at first, especially if you're dealing with someone who has deeply hurt you. But it's important to remember that metta doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior or suppressing your emotions. It's a way to release the grip that negativity has on your heart, allowing you to move forward without carrying the burden of anger or resentment. When you extend loving kindness, you're not just offering peace to the other person, you're offering it to yourself. Incorporating this practice into your daily life can be as simple as taking a few moments each morning or evening to reflect. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and bring to mind someone you care about. Silently wish them well. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. Feel the warmth of this intention as it radiates outward. Then, gradually extend this goodwill to others, including those who challenge your patience or bring negativity into your life. You don't have to approve of their actions to wish them peace, you simply acknowledge their humanity and the suffering that often fuels their behavior. One of the most powerful aspects of metta is its ability to transform how you experience difficult interactions. For example, if a colleague criticizes your work harshly, instead of reacting defensively or letting their words linger in your mind, take a moment to silently wish them well. You might say to yourself, "May they find clarity. May they feel supported. May they be free from the frustrations that lead them to speak this way." This simple act doesn't change their behavior, but it changes your relationship to it. Their negativity no longer consumes you because you've chosen to respond with compassion rather than reactivity. Over time, practicing loving kindness without attachment can deepen your understanding of others. You begin to see that, just like you, they are navigating their own struggles, fears, and desires. This recognition fosters a sense of connection that transcends differences and disagreements. You start to realize that their harsh words or actions are less about you and more about their internal challenges. And in seeing this, it becomes easier to respond with empathy rather than judgment. Loving kindness without attachment also strengthens your resilience. When you're not tethered to the outcome of your compassion, whether it's gratitude, reciprocity, or acknowledgement, you're less likely to feel disheartened or drained. You give freely because it aligns with your values, not because you expect something in return. This shift empowers you to maintain your peace even in the face of rejection or negativity. There's a subtle but profound joy in practicing metta. As you cultivate this unconditional goodwill, you'll find that it softens your heart and expands your capacity for understanding. You become less reactive, more patient, and more attuned to the humanity in others. And in the process, you create an internal space where love and compassion can flourish, untouched by the actions or opinions of those around you. Ultimately, loving kindness without attachment is a gift to yourself and to the world. It's a way of saying, "I choose peace. I choose compassion. I choose to let go of what weighs me down so that I can move forward with an open heart." This practice doesn't just change how you interact with others, it transforms how you experience life. By releasing the need for control or validation, you step into a state of freedom, where kindness becomes not just an action but a way of being. And in that state, you discover a profound truth: the more love you give, the more you have to offer, not because others give it back, but because it flows endlessly from within you. 7. Transform challenges into lessons. Having embraced the transformative power of loving kindness without attachment, we now turn to one of life's most profound teachings: the ability to transform challenges into lessons. In Buddhism, obstacles are not seen as mere inconveniences or sources of frustration. They are opportunities, gifts, even, that offer us a chance to grow. Every difficulty we face, every person who tests our patience, serves as a mirror reflecting areas of our own lives where we can evolve. Think about a moment when someone's behavior truly tested your limits. Perhaps it was a friend who repeatedly canceled plans, leaving you feeling unimportant or dismissed. The initial reaction might have been frustration or hurt. But what if, instead of holding on to those feelings, you chose to step back and ask, what is this teaching me? Maybe it's a lesson in flexibility, reminding you that life doesn't always align with your expectations. Maybe it's an invitation to practice acceptance, understanding that others' actions often stem from their own circumstances, not a lack of care for you. Reframing difficulties in this way shifts the narrative entirely. Instead of seeing challenges as burdens, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth. A critical coworker becomes a teacher of patience. A demanding family member becomes an exercise in setting boundaries with compassion. A rude stranger becomes a reminder to stay grounded in your values. No matter the situation, this shift doesn't erase the difficulty, but it empowers you to approach it with a sense of purpose rather than frustration. In Buddhism, this perspective is rooted in the understanding that life is a continuous journey of learning. Every interaction, no matter how small, holds a lesson if we are willing to look for it. For instance, imagine being stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. The situation is undeniably frustrating, but it also offers a moment to practice acceptance and mindfulness. You can choose to let the frustration consume you, or you can take a deep breath and remind yourself that this moment, like all others, will pass. What's more, it teaches you to let go of control, to accept that not everything will go as planned, and that's okay. This practice of reframing challenges requires intentionality. It's not about denying your emotions or pretending that difficulties don't affect you. It's about allowing yourself to feel those emotions, then choosing to respond in a way that fosters growth rather than perpetuates frustration. Ask yourself, how can this experience help me become more patient, more understanding, more resilient? These questions guide you towards self-improvement, even in the face of adversity. Consider the example of a colleague who often interrupts you in meetings. Initially, it might feel disrespectful or dismissive, but when viewed as a lesson, their behavior becomes an opportunity to refine your communication skills or practice assertiveness. Instead of reacting with annoyance, you might calmly say, "I'd like to finish my thought, and then I'd love to hear your perspective." In this way, the challenge helps you grow in confidence and clarity, turning a moment of conflict into a moment of empowerment. Transforming challenges into lessons also requires self-compassion. Growth is rarely linear, and there will be times when frustration or anger feels overwhelming. That's okay. The key is to approach yourself with kindness, recognizing that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Even in moments when you react impulsively or struggle to find the lesson, you're learning about your triggers, your limits, and the areas where you can continue to grow. Over time, this mindset becomes a habit, changing not only how you view challenges but also how you approach life as a whole. Difficult interactions no longer feel like personal attacks. They become opportunities to deepen your practice of patience and empathy. Frustrating situations no longer feel like roadblocks, they become stepping stones toward greater resilience and understanding. And as you transform these moments, you also transform yourself, becoming more grounded, more compassionate, and more aligned with your highest values. This shift in perspective doesn't just benefit you, it impacts those around you as well. When you approach challenges with a sense of curiosity and growth, you model a way of being that inspires others. Your calmness in the face of adversity encourages those around you to do the same. Your willingness to see lessons where others see obstacles creates a ripple effect, fostering a culture of resilience and understanding in your relationships and communities. Ultimately, viewing challenges as lessons is an act of empowerment. It reminds you that while you may not control what happens around you, you always have a choice in how you respond. It's a practice of reclaiming your power, of refusing to let difficulties define you or derail your peace. And in that choice, you find freedom, the freedom to grow, to learn, and to live with intention. The next time you encounter a challenge, big or small, pause and take a breath. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" This simple shift opens the door to transformation, turning even the most difficult moments into opportunities for growth and self-discovery. In every challenge, there is a lesson waiting to be uncovered. And with each lesson, you take another step toward becoming the best version of yourself. 8. Embrace meditation and mindfulness. Building upon the foundation of transforming challenges into lessons, we now come to one of the most powerful tools for maintaining balance and clarity in the face of life's inevitable difficulties: meditation and mindfulness. These practices are not just about sitting quietly or finding a moment of peace, they are about cultivating an inner resilience that allows you to navigate the storms of life with composure, insight, and grace. When practiced consistently, meditation helps you step out of the whirlwind of your emotions and into a space of mindful awareness. It teaches you to observe without becoming entangled, to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Meditation, at its core, is about being present. It's about anchoring yourself in the here and now, regardless of what's happening around you. When negativity arises, whether in the form of a harsh comment, a stressful situation, or a moment of inner doubt, meditation helps you hold space for your feelings without letting them control you. Rather than being swept away by frustration or anger, you learn to step back and observe. This practice allows you to respond with thoughtfulness and compassion rather than being driven by immediate emotional reactions. Imagine for a moment that you are in the middle of a difficult situation. Perhaps someone has said something hurtful, or you've encountered an obstacle that feels overwhelming. Your initial instinct may be to react, to defend yourself, to justify your actions, or to feel hurt. But with meditation, you create the space to pause. Instead of letting your emotions dictate your actions, you take a breath, ground yourself, and choose your response. You don't have to suppress your feelings, but you can allow them to come and go without identifying with them. To help integrate this practice into your life, here's a simple yet powerful guided meditation exercise. Find a quiet space where you can sit comfortably. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. With each inhale, feel the air filling your lungs. With each exhale, imagine releasing tension from your body. Let go of any tightness in your shoulders, your jaw, or your chest. With each breath, create space for calm. Now, focus on your breath as it flows in and out. Don't force it, just allow it to be natural. As you breathe, notice any thoughts or emotions that arise. Perhaps there are worries, judgments, or frustrations. Instead of reacting to them, simply observe them as they pass by, like clouds floating across the sky. You don't need to attach meaning to them or allow them to pull you into their current. Just acknowledge their presence and let them go. As you continue breathing, reflect on how you can respond to negativity with compassion and balance. What would it look like to meet difficult people or challenging situations with understanding instead of resistance? How might you maintain your peace in the face of criticism or conflict? This practice doesn't require you to solve the problem in the moment, but it helps you approach it with a clear and steady heart. When you meditate regularly, this space of calm becomes more accessible throughout the day. When a challenge arises, you don't need to search for peace, it's already within you. Meditation creates a mental muscle that you can rely on. A foundation of clarity and awareness that supports you in moments of difficulty. You'll begin to notice that, instead of reacting impulsively, you can pause and choose your response with intention. In doing so, you maintain your balance and cultivate compassion for yourself and others. The beauty of mindfulness and meditation is that they help you become more aware of your patterns. You may notice how certain people or situations trigger automatic reactions. Whether it's defensiveness, irritation, or fear. Through meditation, you begin to observe these reactions without judgment. This awareness is the first step toward transforming them. Instead of acting out of habit or emotion, you have the opportunity to respond with wisdom and clarity. Over time, this practice builds resilience. Life will continue to present challenges, this is a given. But as you deepen your meditation practice, you begin to see these challenges not as disruptions, but as opportunities for growth. You become more comfortable with discomfort, knowing that even in moments of chaos, you can return to your breath and find peace. A key aspect of this practice is self-compassion. Meditation teaches you to approach yourself with kindness. Even when you struggle, you don't need to be perfect in your responses to negativity. And you don't need to judge yourself when you feel overwhelmed. Meditation reminds you that it's okay to feel anger, frustration, sadness. They are natural human emotions. But you don't have to be controlled by them. You can observe them, understand them, and choose to respond from a place of clarity. Incorporating meditation into your daily life doesn't require hours of practice. Just 5 to 10 minutes each morning or evening can make a significant difference. The key is consistency. As you commit to this practice, you'll notice that your capacity to stay present in difficult moments expands. You'll feel more grounded, less reactive, and more able to navigate life with grace. Meditation and mindfulness don't eliminate life's difficulties, they help you face them with a calm and compassionate heart. They offer you the tools to approach each moment with awareness, to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, and to cultivate a steady peace that isn't dependent on external circumstances. In every breath, in every moment of stillness, you have the power to return to your center and meet the world with an open heart. Through meditation, you create a sanctuary within yourself, a place where you are always able to return to your peace, no matter the storms of life. And with each practice, you strengthen that sanctuary, making it more resilient, more spacious, and more enduring. The more you practice, the more you discover that true peace comes not from the world around you, but from within. 9. Reflect on impermanence. Building on the foundation of meditation and mindfulness, we come to one of the most profound teachings in Buddhism, the concept of impermanence, or anicca. This principle reminds us that everything in life, joy and sorrow, success and failure, connection and conflict, is transient. Nothing remains forever. When we fully grasp this truth, it becomes a source of liberation, allowing us to release the weight of emotional distress and approach life with a renewed sense of perspective. Think about a time when someone's words or actions deeply upset you. In that moment, their criticism, anger, or insensitivity may have felt overwhelming, as though it had the power to define your day, your week, or even your self-worth. But if you reflect on those experiences now, you might notice that the intensity has faded. The emotions that once seemed so consuming have likely softened or even disappeared entirely. This is the nature of impermanence. Just as waves rise and fall, so too do our feelings and the events that trigger them. When we remind ourselves, this, too, shall pass, we create space to endure the moment without being swept away by it. Recognizing impermanence doesn't mean dismissing your emotions or denying their impact. It means acknowledging that while your feelings are valid, they are not permanent. Anger, frustration, and sadness may visit you, but they are not here to stay. This awareness can be deeply comforting, particularly in difficult situations. When someone's actions upset you, you can pause, take a breath, and remind yourself this moment is temporary. It will not last forever. With this perspective, you can approach the situation with greater patience and resilience, knowing that the intensity of the present will inevitably fade. Impermanence also helps us navigate the complexities of relationships. Imagine a friend or family member who frequently tests your patience. Their behavior might trigger frustration or even hurt. But when viewed through the lens of impermanence, you realize that their actions are not fixed. People grow, circumstances change, and moments of conflict often give way to understanding and connection. By holding on to this perspective, you can meet their behavior with compassion rather than frustration, trusting that the dynamic between you is not static. This teaching becomes even more powerful when we apply it to our inner world. How often do we cling to our own thoughts and emotions, letting them define our sense of self? We may carry the burden of past mistakes, unresolved conflicts, or lingering insecurities, believing that they are a permanent part of who we are. But impermanence reminds us that nothing within us is fixed. Just as anger or sadness will eventually fade, so too will doubt and fear. This truth offers us the freedom to change, to grow, and to release what no longer serves us. A practical way to reflect on impermanence is to observe the natural world. Watch the clouds as they drift across the sky or the way leaves fall and decay, only to nourish new growth in the spring. These cycles mirror the impermanence in our own lives, showing us that endings are often beginnings in disguise. When you feel stuck in a difficult moment, take a walk in nature and let it remind you of the ever-changing flow of life. The storm will pass, and the sun will return. Another practice is to pause during moments of emotional intensity and bring awareness to your breath. As you inhale, recognize the emotion that is present, whether it's anger, sadness, or frustration. As you exhale, imagine releasing it, knowing that it will not remain forever. This simple exercise grounds you in the present moment while honoring the transient nature of your feelings. With each breath, you create space for those emotions to ebb, making room for clarity and calm. Impermanence also teaches us to appreciate the present moment more fully. When we recognize that joy, connection, and even the mundane aspects of life are fleeting, we begin to cherish them in a deeper way. A smile from a stranger, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, or a quiet moment of stillness becomes a reminder to savor what is here now. This awareness doesn't diminish the reality of life's challenges. Instead, it balances them with gratitude for the beauty that exists alongside them. Over time, embracing impermanence can transform how you approach not only difficulties but also achievements and successes. It reminds us not to cling too tightly to the highs or despair over the lows, but to flow with the rhythm of life. When we accept that everything is temporary, we become less attached to outcomes and more at peace with the process. This doesn't mean we stop striving for growth or joy. It means we learn to hold both lightly, knowing that they too will evolve. Ultimately, impermanence is not a source of fear but a source of freedom. It invites us to let go of what weighs us down and to embrace the ever-changing nature of life with openness and curiosity. It teaches us that no matter how heavy the moment feels, it will not define us forever. And it reassures us that with each ending, there is the potential for something new to emerge. The next time you find yourself caught in the grip of a difficult emotion or situation, pause and reflect on the truth of impermanence. Remind yourself, this, too, shall pass, and let that awareness bring a sense of calm and perspective. In the ebb and flow of life, nothing stays the same, and in that truth lies the beauty of transformation and renewal. 10. Uphold your core values. As we reflect on the impermanence of life, we are reminded of the transient nature of challenges and emotions. Yet amidst this constant flow, there is something within us that remains steadfast, our core values. These principles, the compass of our character, anchor us in turbulent times. They define who we are, how we engage with the world, and what we stand for, even when negativity seeks to test our resolve. Upholding your core values is not just about maintaining a moral framework, it's about protecting your inner peace and living with authenticity. Imagine encountering someone who questions your integrity or dismisses your kindness as weakness. Their words might sting, tempting you to react defensively or abandon your principles in the heat of the moment. But this is precisely when your values matter most. When negativity challenges you, it's an opportunity to reaffirm what you stand for. Respond with honesty, even if dishonesty would be easier. Choose kindness, even when hostility might feel justified. By staying true to your principles, you rise above the situation and maintain your sense of self. Your values are not for others to approve of, they are for you to live by. In a world filled with conflicting opinions and shifting expectations, it's easy to feel pulled in different directions. Yet when you let your core values guide you, they become a source of clarity amidst the noise. You don't need to please everyone or win every argument. Instead, you can rest in the assurance that your actions align with what matters most to you. Consider creating a mental checklist of your core values. What are the qualities that define you? Perhaps they include honesty, compassion, patience, or resilience. Reflect on these values regularly, especially during challenging interactions. When faced with negativity, pause and ask yourself, how can I respond in a way that honors my values? This question shifts your focus from reacting emotionally to acting intentionally. It reminds you that your peace does not depend on external circumstances, but on how faithfully you live out your principles. Staying true to your values can also be a powerful tool for navigating conflict. When someone criticizes you unfairly or acts out of anger, their behavior says more about them than it does about you. You don't need to mirror their negativity. Instead, let your values steer your response. For instance, if a colleague undermines your work, you might feel the urge to retaliate. But instead of reacting with bitterness, choose professionalism and integrity. Address the issue calmly, focusing on solutions rather than blame. By doing so, you not only uphold your principles but also set a tone of respect that others are more likely to follow. Living by your values does not mean avoiding discomfort or conflict. In fact, it often requires courage to stay grounded when others push against you. But this courage is what strengthens your character and deepens your resilience. Each time you choose to act in alignment with your principles, you reinforce the foundation of your inner peace. You become less influenced by external negativity because your sense of self is rooted in something deeper than fleeting opinions or temporary challenges. This practice is not always easy, and there will be times when you falter. You might lose your patience, act out of frustration, or feel tempted to compromise your values for the sake of convenience or acceptance. When this happens, approach yourself with compassion. Recognize that growth is a process, and every misstep is an opportunity to recommit to what matters most. Reflect on what pulled you away from your principles and how you can respond differently next time. This self-awareness strengthens your ability to stay true to your values in the future. Your core values also serve as a guiding light in moments of uncertainty. Life often presents us with situations where the right choice is unclear. In such moments, turning inward and reflecting on your principles can provide clarity. Ask yourself, what decision aligns with my values? What choice allows me to act with integrity and compassion? These questions can help you navigate even the most complex dilemmas with confidence and grace. Living authentically according to your values not only benefits you but also inspires those around you. When you consistently act with honesty, kindness, and resilience, you set an example for others. Your actions show that it's possible to stay grounded and true to yourself, even in the face of negativity. This ripple effect can create a more supportive and respectful environment, encouraging others to reflect on and uphold their own principles. Ultimately, your core values are more than just ideals, they are the foundation of a life lived with purpose and peace. They remind you of who you are at your best and guide you through life's challenges with strength and clarity. By upholding your values, you protect your inner peace, build resilience, and foster authenticity in your interactions with the world. The next time negativity arises, pause and reconnect with your principles. Let them anchor you in the moment, providing the clarity and courage to respond thoughtfully. Remember, your values are not defined by others or the circumstances you face, they are the essence of who you are. By living in alignment with them, you create a life of integrity, peace, and purpose, no matter what challenges come your way. 11. Retreat into solitude for reflection. Having explored the importance of upholding your core values as an anchor amidst life's challenges, we now turn to another essential practice, retreating into solitude for reflection. In a world that often feels overwhelming, filled with noise, demands, and the relentless pull of external pressures, solitude becomes not a luxury but a necessity. In Buddhism, solitude is regarded as a sacred space, a sanctuary where we can reconnect with our inner peace, process our emotions, and gain a clearer perspective on life's complexities. Solitude is not about escaping the world or avoiding challenges. It's about creating intentional moments of stillness where we can tune into ourselves. When we allow time for silence and reflection, we give ourselves the opportunity to step back from the immediacy of reactions and the distractions of daily life. It's in this space that clarity arises, allowing us to see situations, relationships, and even our own thoughts with greater insight and compassion. Imagine stepping into a quiet forest, the sounds of nature surrounding you, the air fresh and still. Or picture yourself sitting by a window, a cup of tea in hand, simply watching the world pass by. These moments of solitude are not about doing, they are about being. They invite you to let go of the need to fix, solve, or achieve, and instead to simply exist in the present moment. In this stillness, you can begin to process emotions that may have felt overwhelming, unravel thoughts that have been tangled, and return to a place of calm and balance. Daily practices of solitude don't require grand gestures or extended retreats. It can be as simple as taking 5 minutes in the morning to sit quietly before the day begins, or going for a walk in nature without your phone. As you create this space, you may notice that your mind begins to settle, much like a jar of muddy water that becomes clear when left undisturbed. In this clarity, insights emerge, not through force, but through allowing yourself the time and space to reflect. Solitude also provides an opportunity to reconnect with your values. In the busyness of life, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to you. By stepping away from the noise, you can reflect on your choices, actions, and intentions. Asking yourself, am I living in alignment with my principles? What adjustments do I need to make to stay true to myself? This kind of reflection strengthens your ability to approach life's challenges with authenticity and purpose. At times, solitude may bring up uncomfortable emotions, sadness, anger, or fear. These feelings, often buried under the distractions of daily life, may surface in the quiet. This is not something to fear, but an invitation to heal. When you allow yourself to sit with these emotions, without judgment or the need to suppress them, you create space for transformation. Emotions, like everything else, are impermanent. By acknowledging them and letting them flow, you release their grip on your heart and mind. Solitude is also a way to replenish your energy. Interacting with the world, especially when faced with negativity, can be draining. Without moments of retreat, we risk becoming depleted, losing the ability to respond to challenges with patience and clarity. Solitude acts as a reset, allowing you to recharge your emotional and mental reserves. Think of it as filling your cup so that you can continue to give to others without emptying yourself. In this quiet space, you may also find a deeper connection to the present moment. Solitude removes the distractions that often pull us into the past or future, bringing us back to the now. Whether you're meditating, walking, journaling, or simply sitting in stillness, you become more attuned to the beauty and simplicity of the present. This mindfulness fosters a sense of gratitude and peace, reminding you that even amidst life's challenges, there's always something to appreciate. The benefits of solitude extend far beyond the moments you spend alone. When you emerge from this space, you carry its clarity and calm into your interactions and decisions. You're better equipped to navigate conflicts, respond to negativity, and approach challenges with a steady heart. Solitude strengthens your resilience, not by shielding you from life's difficulties, but by helping you process and prepare for them with grace. It's important to remember that solitude doesn't mean isolation. It's not about cutting yourself off from others, but about cultivating a deeper connection with yourself. In doing so, you create a foundation of inner peace that enhances your relationships and interactions. When you take the time to care for your inner world, you show up more fully in the outer world, with greater patience, compassion, and understanding. By embracing solitude, you honor the Buddhist teaching that true peace comes from within. You remind yourself that you don't need to seek validation, answers, or solutions outside of yourself. They are already present, waiting to be uncovered in the stillness. Solitude is not an escape, but a return to your truest self, your deepest wisdom, and your unshakable inner calm. As you incorporate moments of solitude into your life, you may find that they become a source of strength and inspiration. They provide a refuge in times of difficulty and a space for growth and reflection. In this sacred stillness, negativity loses its power, and you discover the resilience and clarity needed to face life's challenges with confidence and grace. Solitude is not just a practice, it is a gift you give to yourself. A reminder that amidst the noise of the world, there's always a quiet place within you, waiting to be found. As we draw this journey to a close, take a moment to reflect on the wisdom we've explored. Life, in all its complexity, will continue to present challenges. People will act out of their own pain. Situations may test your patience, and negativity will occasionally knock at your door. But within you lies a quiet strength, a boundless capacity for peace and resilience. Buddhism teaches us that while we cannot control the external world, we hold the profound ability to shape our inner one. It is in our responses, not our circumstances, that true freedom resides. Each of the 11 teachings we've shared today is a tool, a gentle reminder of your power to meet life's difficulties with grace. From the stillness of meditation to the clarity of impermanence, from the strength of boundaries to the warmth of loving kindness, these practices are pathways to a life lived with purpose and balance. They remind us that peace is not something to be found outside of ourselves. It is something we cultivate within. One moment, one choice at a time. Imagine for a moment the ripple effect of these teachings. As you bring mindfulness into your daily life, as you approach others with compassion and respond to challenges with equanimity, you inspire those around you. Your calm becomes a source of stability for others. Your kindness a spark that ignites their own. In practicing these principles, you're not just transforming your own life, you're contributing to a world that feels a little softer, a little more understanding, a little more at peace. We hope this video has offered you insights that resonate deeply and tools that feel practical and empowering. If something we shared today touched your heart or shifted your perspective, we'd love to hear about it. Take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments below. What teaching stood out to you the most? How do you plan to incorporate it into your life? Let's create a space here where positivity and wisdom can flourish. A space where we can learn and grow together. Thank you for taking the time to watch and reflect with us today. Your presence here is a testament to your commitment to personal growth and inner peace. That commitment is a gift, not just to yourself, but to everyone whose life you touch. If you found value in this video, we invite you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you help us reach more people who might benefit from these teachings. Let's grow this community of wisdom and support, one thoughtful connection at a time. Together, we can cultivate a life of purpose, balance, and compassion. Together, we can rise above negativity and find peace in even the most uncertain moments. Thank you for being part of this journey. Until next time, may you walk your path with clarity, courage, and kindness.